fired the young man, KaJuan Raye. On November 23rd, a little bit after 11 o'clock at night, the night before Thanksgiving, when families are supposed to come together and give thanks, KaJuan Raye was gunned down by Sergeant John Poulos of the Chicago Police Department. KaJuan Raye, as you already know, was standing at a bus stop. He was approached by the sergeant. The sergeant got out. KaJuan ran. KaJuan was 19 years old. He turned 19 in May of this year. He ran. He was unarmed. He ran. There's a lot of unarmed young African-American kids run because he was afraid of what might happen by the police. His fears turned out to be, unfortunately, correct. There was a partial video showing the chase. He was shot in the back. The police gave a statement from Officer Sergeant Poulos saying that KaJuan turned and pointed the gun at him not once, but twice. That is simply ridiculous. It's another attempt to cover up another fatal shooting by the Chicago Police Department. After KaJuan was shot, there was an intensive, and I mean intensive, search by the police department to try and find the supposed gun. Dogs were brought out. There was a grid search. They searched everywhere. I'm sure they searched the sewers, the street, yards, the houses, all around this neighborhood. And guess what? There was no gun. There still is no gun. And there won't be a gun because KaJuan did not have a gun. He was unarmed. Sergeant Poulos is facing a current lawsuit from a shooting in 2013 where he shot an unarmed man in Lincoln Park after leaving the family bar. From what I've read, he gave a statement first saying that he refused to show his hands, then he said he saw an object in this young man's hand. This is the second time that this officer has shot an unarmed African-American man in the city of Chicago. Yet he is still on the streets. He was promoted to a sergeant and even received some sort of award of merit after the first shooting. If he had been taken off the streets,
That's right.
KaJuan would be alive today.
That's right.
But instead, we're here today at a press conference with a family that just came from the church. This morning, my office filed a federal lawsuit, a federal civil rights lawsuit on behalf of the family, on behalf of KaJuan, in the name of his mother, who is here today next to me, alleging that the Chicago Police Department, specifically Sergeant Poulos, has violated the civil rights by shooting KaJuan in the back. He was unarmed. I am asking that there be a full investigation by the new state's attorney, not Anita Alvarez, the new state's attorney, Kim Fox, and her office into potential criminal charges against this sergeant. This man was shot in the back. He was unarmed. We're asking for a full and complete criminal investigation, and if it warrants it, the charges be taken. The lawsuit was filed this morning and will wind its way through court. At this time, my name is J. Mal Green. It's J-A-M-L Green as the color. Too often, we see these cases where young, unarmed black men are shot down by police. There was Paul O'Neal a few months ago, in which they said he was in a stolen car and got out and ran, but they shot him, and no gun was recovered. But now, today, I have to sit with the family and prepare a funeral for a 19-year-old, KaJuan Raye. Too often this is happening and nothing is being done. It seems like it's only getting worse. You appoint Eddie Johnson as the black superintendent, but what has that done for our young black males in the city of Chicago?
That's right.
They are still being taken every single day. 4 people shot by police in the last week. This is a problem. And if Eddie Johnson was really doing his job, he would tell his officers that if they use excessive force, penalties will occur. This officer, John Poulos, was a beat cop when he shot an unarmed man in 2013. He said he came out of bar at 2 or 3 in the morning and shot Ricky Roselle.
He said that he had a gun. He thought it was a gun. And you know what it ended up being? A watch. A wrist watch. And do you know what they did? Timothy McDermott, who was fired, investigated this case and said it was justified. The head of IPRA, Scott Ando, which IPRA is a horrible investigation and they need to be dismantled. But today, they have to investigate this case. Scott Ando justified this shooting as well. And then they promoted this officer as to sergeant and awarded him for killing a young black man. Now, today, that sergeant has killed their son, their brother, their cousin, their loved one. And they have to bury him this week because of the Chicago police. I'm calling for IPRA to reopen the investigation into that 2013 shooting. I'm also calling for Kim Foxx to charge him with not only this murder against KaJuan Raye, but the murder of Ricky Rozelle as well. We want harsh penalties against this police officer. He should not be let off the hook for continuing to be trigger happy in our neighborhoods. This man is keep walking our neighborhoods and keep on shooting our young black males, and we're not going to stand for it. We are not going to stand for it. We're waking up to what's happening. Chicago, it's our time to come together and get rid of these police officers who are continuing to kill your kids. Don't let it hit home before you do something about it. Don't let it hit home before you come and protest. That's right. Come out now. Because a 19-year-old KaJuan Raye was just shot in the back. And they said he had a gun. They said they shot him in the stomach, and he completely lied. That's the first narrative that they put out, is that he's a criminal, that he had a gun. But what really happened? They shot him in the back when he was running away. We're all scared. If a police officer approached me, I'm gonna run too. Then I'm gonna be dead, and I'm gonna be the next KaJuan Raye. Justice for KaJuan Raye.
Yeah, justice for KaJuan. Yes. Justice for KaJuan.
And if any of the family members want to say anything, it's fairly up to them.
It's crazy. Why did you treat him as such a bad person? No.
This is his younger sister.
What the media portraying my brother as is surprising me, because I just want justice for him. This is crazy. I can't believe it's him. All I'm saying is, we're gonna get justice for my brother. It's gotta stop. Yes. It's getting home now. It gotta stop.
What's your name?
KaJuan
Raye.
K-A-I-A, last name R-A-Y-E. And I'm going to listen. R-A-Y-E, Raye.
How old are you?
I'm 15.
We should not have to continue going through this, guys.
No.
We should not. You guys have any questions?
This morning, Eddie Johnson said that he thought it was divine to put out a picture in the name of the sergeant.
Well, you know what? They don't want to put out the name and the background of this sergeant, but yet, soon as they killed KaJuan Raye, they automatically called him a thug. They automatically said he had a gun.
Did.
They automatically put out that narrative. Why we
Criminalized him.
John Poulos is this police officer. Put his picture out. Tell the people that he shot 2 unarmed black males. Put his background out. You want to keep making us look like criminals? He's a criminal. He's a criminal. KaJuan Raye doesn't shoot anybody. He shot 2 unarmed black men. That's the criminal that needs to be prosecuted.
That's right.
Put out his background.
That's right.
Did KaJuan have access to guns?
Next question.
Right.
I only asked because Superintendent McCarthy yesterday said it's relevant. There are pictures on social media. Report to show.
All right, listen. We're not talking about pictures on social media. We're not talking about KaJuan. KaJuan was shot in the back. Was there a gun on the scene? Tell me that. Did anybody find a gun? No. So I don't care about what you see on his Facebook page. I don't care about anything else. The fact of the matter is they killed this 19-year-old boy and took his future away. That's what matters.
What we're seeking altogether, not only in the federal lawsuit, we seek monetary damages of the families of the survivors of KaJuan. We want a memorial. We want KaJuan's name to mean something. We want to establish scholarships in the city for kids who have some opportunities and not get cut down by the Chicago system. We want a seat at the table for the family when changes have been made. We want changes to be made. There's a new and expanded IPRA and all that other nonsense. It's the same old thing. We have shooting cases been going on for years, and IPRA still hasn't made a decision. It is time to not only make a decision, but it's time to get some results. And that's why the family wanted this lawsuit filed, to get results, to make some change so that KaJuan did not die in vain. This was an unarmed kid. They looked everywhere for the gun that never existed in the first place. They looked everywhere. The only thing I commend them for, if you can commend them, is that in this time they didn't plant a weapon.
Yeah.
But they looked everywhere to try and justify this shooting, and they couldn't do it. Time ran out. And that's why he was suspended, and that's why we're asking for justice for this family.
Your thoughts on the fact that
Well, that case is winding its way through the court. I find it disturbing how similar this case is. The fact that the first young man who was shot was unarmed. The fact that this young man is unarmed. The fact that this officer is still on the streets, that nothing has happened, and he's been promoted to sergeant. How in the world can that happen? But it did. And for that reason, we are faced with this family who is grieving over the loss of their son. It shouldn't have happened.
And I want to say this. How many other officers have swept up cases under the rug and getting promoted? Under Scott Ando and Rahm Emanuel. Because they're on these streets and they have killed people and they justified it, and now they're promoted as sergeant. Now they're still beat cops and somebody else's family is next. We need to go back and look at everybody's background and investigate everything that has happened in the past.
Yes, they should.
Every one of them. Everything under Scott Ando needs to be investigated over.
Yes.
And we are going to work with politicians to establish a KaJuan law, because we need justice. This isn't about the money. This is using this as a platform to get justice in this city, so this doesn't happen again to another 19-year-old.